Okay, it's 4 o'clock, so why don't we get today's webinar going? Today, we're going to be doing a webinar on boosting your bottom line, discounting, finalizing, and factoring with your invoices. I'm your host for today's webinar. My name is James, and I've been working in business development for TruckLogics, and I love doing these webinars. I'm really glad we're doing them, and I hope that you learn a lot from them and you enjoy them as well. Today, we're going to take a look at our invoices. We're going to look at final invoices, invoices for factoring companies, paid invoices. We're going to look at email, print, and faxing of your invoices. And we're going to show you how to export them to QuickBooks Online. When it's all said and done, we'll have a short question and answer period. And hopefully I'll be able to answer any questions you may have at that point. We're going to do a live demonstration and show you how to send an invoice to your customer, carrier, broker, or factoring company, set terms and conditions, and add discounts. As always, when you log into your TruckLogics account, you're going to come up with the dashboard. So we're going to be looking at invoices today, and one way to find them is to go to the Loads tab and look at a load, because invoices are always attached to the loads. So you click the Loads tab, and I've got an active dispatch right here. Click on that and bring it up. This shows us that we have a load going from Ridgefield, Ohio to Clearfield, Pennsylvania. We got our driver Rick going to be doing that for us, and we have a broker up here. Akron Canton International Forwarding is the broker on this load. So to take a look at the invoice, we slide up here to the Invoice tab and we click on it. And right there it is. The first thing we need to do, it says it's a new invoice. We need to put an invoice number on it. We can do this manually, or we can switch to automatic numbering. I'm just going to put a few letters in here to serve as a invoice number for us. We come down to the next space here and it says the invoice date. That's today. Down below that are the terms. The terms can be due on receipt, meaning when your delivery's made, you'll be expecting payment, or you can set it up for a net in 15 days or 30 days, or you can customize it to any date that you want. You can make it the end of the month, whatever you want to do. But right here, we're going to leave this on due on receipt, which makes today the due date after the delivery's made. If your broker has an account number, there's a space right here that you can put the broker's account number in it, and then any reference numbers for POs or anything that may be pertinent there, you can add those in. Also, if you get over here and you notice that this is not what you want, you can edit your broker at this point. It looks to us like this one is right, so we're going to leave it right there. As we come down the invoice, we see that we have factoring details here. This is pretty self-explanatory. It says, is this invoice for a factoring company? If it's no, you just leave it as no and you go on. But if it is yes, you click yes. And if you haven't already added your factoring company in, you can add them in right here, list all their details and hit save. And then the next time you go to add them in, you'll pick it out. There they are, Zork's Factoring. Their factoring rate, I don't know, maybe 2.5%. And you can put it in, and then your invoice can be emailed to them later. But if it's still no, you just click no and you take it out of there. We come further down the invoice here, and it's going to show us that our shipper is MAS, right there they are, and our consignee is Ty Lamar. There they are. Again, there's an edit button here. If you feel like you need to edit this, you can. They look like they're right because they come from our load when we built it. Same thing with the consignee, that is also editable should it become necessary. Pickup date, that's today. If you're not going to pick it up today, you can change that and pick it up tomorrow. Delivery date, not required, but it is in there for today. So this is a delivery that's going to be picked up and then delivered today. Pickup time, it's not entered. If you want to add a pickup time or if you want to make it a pickup range from noon to 6 p.m. or something like that, you can do that, or you can just leave it blank, which they've done here. There's our driver. He's got truck 3 and trailer 3000. It says right there. Further down the list here, we have our freight details, and it says we have lumber, 40,000 pounds, and it's on 40 bundles, but it's editable here. Maybe we have lumber and shingles. So he could add the shingles in there at this point. We come and we see we have hauling charges of $2,000. It's a flat fee. If there was another line, you can click and add in another flat fee, or you maybe per ton, per gallon, per mile fee, anything you want to add, it can also be added in there. There's also a place to select tax. If you want to add a tax, you can add that in. It would be listed right here. Fuel surcharge is the next line. Again, you can add multiple charges, or you can add none, or add them in as a fuel surcharge in as a flat fee, as a percentage of the hauling fee, or on a per mile basis. And then if you do that, then that opens up the tax window here, and you can add a tax there as well. But if it's not in there, we just leave it blank. Here's your accessorials. Lots of lines can be added for your accessorials. Anything in the fees section would be billed back to the broker. Anything in the deduction section would be deducted from your settlement. So you have the option to add those in, and then they get added here or subtracted off here. And again, line after line. So if this looks good to you, you move on down, and there are notes here that you can add here for the customer. A little box there. Glad to do business with you. You could put a memo just for yourself, which will not be shown on the invoice when it gets printed. And then the terms and conditions, whatever you wanted to put here for your terms and conditions, please pay it once or something like that. If all of that looks good to you, you can click the box, and hit the generate invoice button, and you now have a draft copy of your invoice. At this point, it can be exported to QuickBooks, and that works by just clicking on this, and then you'll be required to put in your QuickBooks information to access your QuickBooks account. Go back to that invoice. It still can be edited. It could be finalized, although I don't like to do that until we have actually made the delivery, but it could be printed, emailed, or faxed, all from right here. So say we got over here and Rick has made his delivery, we would come back and we would finalize this. If I do that by clicking right there, and then we've got a final invoice, the delivery's been made. So we email to our factoring company or to our broker that the delivery's been made, and since the terms are due on receipt, we expect our payment. And he hustles up and he gets us out an ACH payment, and then we will just add receive the payment from Akron Canton International Forwarding. the broker on what date. That would be today, the 14th. Unpaid amount, $2,000. Receive payment in full for dispatch 10205, $2,000. Check, cash, funds transfer, or credit card. Say he sent us a check. We'll add in the check number and hit save. And now it tells us we have a paid invoice. So that's how you end up with a paid invoice. Now, again, it can be exported to QuickBooks in this manner, printed, emailed, or faxed, all from right here. And that is how you work an invoice that's attached to a load. Now, TruckLogics also allows us to make invoices in standalone fashion. So if you just want an invoice and you're not needing a load, you can come over here to the Accounts tab and you hit Invoices. And it tells us the last invoice receipt is right there, successfully uploaded. But say we just need an invoice, not a load. We hit Add Invoice. This is a standalone invoice. Is it for a customer, a carrier, or a broker? We'll say this is, again, for a broker. And I don't know, let's pick out, how about TQL? There they are. We will have to add an invoice number here. It's required. It's got an asterisk beside it, so that means it's required. So we'll give it a number there. It's got an invoice date. That's today. The terms, same as on the invoice that's attached to a load. Due on receipt, net 15, net 30. You can customize it to anything you want. Set your own date. Or just due on receipt. Any reference number you want to put in, you can put in right there. Again, is this for a factoring company or no? If it is, of course, you add them in. And if it's not, you hit no. We'll say we have what is a non-load item that we're creating an invoice for. We could say this would be supplies. And we could have, I don't know, 4 units at $50 a unit. And it would be $200 over here. If there's a discount involved, we can give the discount right here, 2% discount. If there's any taxes, we can add the taxes over here. So $196 due on this, but say there's not just supplies, say there's also materials. And there's, 1 unit at $100 of that. No discount on that, so that just adds $100 to it. And so now we have $296 due for our grand total. Again, notes for your customer, pleasure doing business with you, whatever it may be, memo for yourself, whatever you need to remember, terms and conditions, anything you want to put in there. If that all looks good, again, update it and generate your invoice. And now you have a draft copy of this invoice, which you can export to QuickBooks. You can edit, you can finalize, print, or email. And say, we email it out here to TQL. Right there they are. Send it off. And they get that, and they get us a check in the mail. Next thing we know, we're getting a check from them. We hit finalize on it because we sent it. And now we're going to receive our payment. Same thing, hit the receive payment button. TQL, what date? Today, the 14th, $296. Receive payment in full. There it is. Total payment, check number, save, and there we go. Now this shows up as a non-load payment, non-load income. So those are some of the ways that you work the invoices and the buttons that are on them. Pretty simple, pretty quick today. Is there anything that you can think of that you might be wondering about? And I'll be happy to answer that. We'll just wait a couple of minutes and see if there's any questions. All right, well, looks like we're not going to have any questions, so that's fine. If there are any questions later, you can pose them to support@trucklogics.com, and we'll get those answered for you. At this time, I'd like to invite you to sign up for next week's webinar, which is Shortcuts and Secrets, Mastering the Invoice and Settlement. And that'll be Will doing that, so you know that'll be a good one because he really knows his stuff. So 4 o'clock next Thursday, the 21st. This is our schedule for the rest of the month. On the 28th, we'll be doing fourth in this series on navigating TruckLogics, locating invoices and driver settlements. If you haven't done it already, I'd like to encourage you to go ahead and sign up for your free 15-day trial of TruckLogics. You get full access to the total site, and it's a really great way to get acclimated to the system. And who doesn't like a couple of weeks of something that's great for free? Anytime you need to get in touch with us, we are in Rock Hill, South Carolina, and we're there 8:30 to 5:30, Monday through Friday. Our support hotline is 704-234-6946. And you can also reach us at support@trucklogics.com, which I had already mentioned earlier. Also, I'd like to encourage you to follow us on our social medias with Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And that will conclude today's webinar. I hope you enjoyed it today, and thank you for being here. We'll see you next time. Thank you.